Heidi ho, Heidi ho, Heidi ho. So here we are, cooking dinner for the kiddos. So, doing a lot of studying this week. Part of my studying is I watch politics because politics were created out of religion, spiritual convictions. Um, so anyway, psychology. I'm real deep into psychology and philosophy and Kabbalah and learning. So I'm a student of many schools of thought. And because of that, that's why I'll watch politics to an extent. Politics, as some call them, because they are like ticks. They like to suck the blood out, the life force out of others. So anyway, I'll watch politics. I get a lot of individuals that come to my profile and they'll say they're somebody famous, like Emma Watson here lately has been blowing up my profile. So they're scammers, and some of them are agents trying to entrap because they believe they're intelligent and they want to try to entrap others. But here's the funny thing about me. So there's a Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, and I'll never claim to be anything more than a Neshama. Think about what I just said. I'm not going to allow you to tell me that I am the name that was given to this vessel during this life. Because scientifically, I can prove that every single atom of this vessel that I am living in always has been and it always will be. I can prove that scientifically. It's quantum entanglement. Everything is quantum. Even our thoughts are quantum. I am is the funniest thing that we can say. So I am Emma Watson, or I am Jim Carrey, or I am Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I am Sylvester Stallone. You're limiting yourself. I am. I am is one of the most limiting beliefs that we have. I am. Ahay, Asher, ahay. I will be what I will be, or I will be what I will to be. I'm not, I am. So, I am during this life, but it's not to say I wasn't before this life. It's not to say that I won't be after this life and this nefesh, this body of the beast. But I don't live in the nefesh, the programming of the body of the beast. So there's a story about a king who has a trainer. And I'll try to make it really short. This king has a trainer who trains all of his animals for the palace, and he trains the cats to where they'll walk around like Puss in Boots, and they carry all the hors d'oeuvres and all the wine and whatnot for the palace. And this sage comes, a rabbi we'll call him, comes and he says, yeah, they're cats. They're always going to do what cats do. So this trainer makes a bet with the rabbi. Well, you know what? I bet you can't make them do anything other than what I tell them to do. So anyway, they make this bet, and the story goes that the king decides he's going to have this big to do at the palace, this big ball, and the one who actually loses his head. So the rabbi shows up, and he's got his, trench coat on, and he's enjoying the ball, and the trainer comes up towards the end of the ball, and he says, looks like you lose. My cats did everything I wanted them to do, and you weren't able to get them to not do what they were trained to do. And he says, well, the ball's not over yet. A rabbi being a rabbi, he doesn't want to harm anybody. So it's coming to the end, and the king says, well, you're going to lose if you can't get them. So the rabbi reaches into his pocket, pulls out a mouse, and puts the mouse down. And the cats take off after the mouse. The difference between the nefesh and the ruach and the neshama is this. The nefesh is an NPC like the cat. It's always going to do as it's told. It doesn't think for anything or ascend to anything higher than its programming. We have to ascend higher than that programming and be the neshama, the godly, taking ourselves to our ima'ab and realizing there's light and dark in all things, good and bad, positive and negative, judgment and mercy. And to be in the center, like Yaakov, Jacob. Not to be on the side of Abraham and not to be on the side of Isaac, but to be in the center, Yaakov, Yisrael. We can see that there's a need for war sometimes, but we can also see a need for peace. We can't be fully in judgment because then we're cruel. If we're fully in mercy, then we're weak. So that's the message for today. Stop saying that you are the name that was given to your body. I am. Because you're not. You're something higher. You're something much more divine. We have a mother and a father, not just a father. That's the message for today. God bless. Much love.